80% of the world's energy is consumed in buildings. This includes high-rise, office, university campus, retail, condominium, airports, and sports arenas. As buildings add more loads and more intelligent loads like electric vehicles, they are also adding on renewable sources like solar and wind, which are paired with energy storage systems. The building of the past could have one incoming power meter that the utility would read and use to charge the building owner. Building owners are starting to care more about not only their total energy consumption, but how that energy is being created and consumed within the building. Eaton is here to help those building owners with our building as a grid approach to improve performance and expand functional use of your building infrastructure. With this approach, some key customer benefits include lower carbon footprint, maximizing renewable energy consumption, optimizing energy usage, cutting energy costs even as energy needs increase, and gaining new revenue by selling excess energy back to the local utility. You see, the building is now acting quite like our utility grid by balancing a set of power sources with another more numerous set of diverse loads. We help customers to organize, monitor, and control electricity in the most efficient way possible. We help make your building's electrical infrastructure a source of value rather than a drain on resources, with an energy management strategy that helps meet your customers' needs and your business objectives. You might be asking yourself, shouldn't we just use the power as needed and maybe turn off the lights or turn down the AC more often? Well, you're not wrong, but modern building systems are more complicated than that. So let's dive in. First, what is the energy transition? The energy transition has and will continue to work its way into the buildings we own and operate every day. This is happening in two forms: electrification and digitalization. Electrification means we are changing older systems such as natural gas heating to electric heating. This covers the HVAC system, water heating and drying such as laundry used for bedding in a hotel. These heating methods are responsible for about 1/4 of a building's energy consumption. Moving the source from gas to electric allows us to take advantage of rooftop solar to provide the energy locally. Digitalization is the process by which the building monitoring and control technology is being upgraded from analog or non-existent equipment to high-speed, cloud-connected digital equipment. This gives facilities personnel a much more detailed view of their power system than simply knowing the power the building consumes as a whole. Branch circuit monitoring will monitor each circuit breaker in order to detect what rooms or equipment are using the most power and help diagnose power quality issues. Eaton Power Expert meters throughout a facility, all connected through a single gateway, will focus system information into one central location. Eaton's BrightLayer software suite takes this concept to the next level by using all this information to preempt operational challenges with the data and insights captured from your installed assets. Eaton's Everything as a Grid approach is uniquely suited for the energy transition. With this, we look at a building as a balance of sources and loads. Buildings as a Grid infrastructure combines the local power generation, energy storage, and intelligent control to deliver the maximum benefit from your energy system. The key here is that we now have sources in the building and not just loads. These sources include energy storage for emergency backup power, as well as renewables like solar and wind. While they are allowing buildings to reduce carbon footprint, they come with their own host of challenges. The main challenge being the intermittency of renewable sources. For example, cloud cover can drastically change the output of a solar array. A 50 kilowatt array at peak output can drop to 15 kilowatts in a matter of seconds due to cloud cover, and then back up to 50 kilowatts just seconds later. Well, this isn't okay when the lighting system requires a constant 30 kilowatts of load. This is why we utilize energy storage systems to provide an energy buffer which will supply power in times of renewable underproduction. This is similar to how utility grids utilize base load power plants and then have peaker power plants to supply power for unpredictable spikes in demand. The building itself is starting to look a lot like the power grid, which is constantly and instantaneously balancing sources and loads. This is Eaton's Everything as a Grid approach. Digitalization allows us to balance these sources and loads because of the monitoring and control systems buildings are fitted with. In times of underproduction, the batteries are dispatched to provide the difference of power required. Load shedding can also be done where non-critical loads are cycled on and off to alleviate some of the power demand if the renewables are underproducing. Electrification of everything takes electricity demands to new levels. Most existing electrical infrastructure was not designed for this emerging trend. In summer of 2021, California asked its citizens to reduce their power demand to alleviate stress on the grid. One of the suggestions was to not charge EVs during peak hours. This may seem drastic, but can help prevent power blackouts. This was during a heat wave where the grid was stressed with excess air conditioning load. A parking lot of electric vehicle chargers at a retail facility, for example, could easily double its peak power demand in a matter of minutes. Eaton has teamed up with a nationwide charge point operator to tackle the challenge of peak power penalties for electric vehicle infrastructure. The initial project will support over 100 more charging sites with more to follow. Eaton offers energy storage systems for these projects, which are built to do more than just keep the lights on. We think of energy storage as a source within our building as a grid approach, so that it's not just backup capacity, but plays an active role in a building's energy profile. Our customers' electrical costs have been reduced during peak hours when the financial penalty is greatest, thanks to the batteries and inverters which supply a portion of building power during these intervals, which is called peak shaving. A study by the National Renewable Energy Laboratory showed over 5 million commercial customers pay a demand charge of $15 per kilowatt hour or more per month. By providing supplemental energy during peak periods, solutions like the xStorage 400 can reduce a facility's energy costs by roughly $72,000 or more each year. Another example of Eaton's building as a grid approach for large UPS backup systems in the digitalization space is Eaton's cloud-based PredictPulse software. This software monitors a UPS and other power infrastructure to proactively address issues before they cause downtime associated with battery, capacitor, fan, and air filter failures. With intuitive reports and critical mobile notifications, PredictPulse will keep you up to date on the status of your IT infrastructure power equipment. The buildings as a grid approach also encompasses microgrids. This means we have power generation and consumption all happening in the same place. There's rooftop solar that is producing power, which is then consumed within the building just a few feet away in the lighting or outlets. Microgrids support resilience, efficiency, and sustainability goals. For example, some buildings may need a microgrid to ensure backup power during utility outages. If efficiency is the goal, then the solar and energy storage capabilities would be maximized to get the best return on investment. For sustainability, the storage and solar would be dispatched to maximize the output of the solar panels and reduce the building's reliance on utility fossil fuels. Buildings have become more variable in the equation. In the past, they were on or off and consumed a predictable amount of power, like a motor, for example. Today, motors have variable frequency drives which can be programmed to run at lower speeds to maximize efficiency. Their load range can be anywhere from 0 to 100%. Particularly in HVAC systems, this variable load could be utilized to run slower and consume less power during times of solar underproduction if sustainability was the primary goal. What about loads that are required by code to be centrally controlled to reduce energy usage in buildings? Eaton's smart breakers with the ability to control and provide energy data support plug-and-play load shedding schemes. Reliance on the utility is still critical to make this all work. Local renewable energy systems are not yet powerful enough to allow a building to run completely off the grid in most reasonable use cases. The utility is and will continue to be our most stable and abundant source of electricity. That doesn't mean that it's all coming from fossil fuels, however. With the energy transition, utility-scale solar and energy storage are becoming more common with advancements in the power electronics required to make them possible. The strength of the utility is critical for a building to rely on when it is implementing more weather-sensitive renewable energy systems. Also key to this is that the utility grid allows a more modern building to provide renewable energy to nearby buildings which have not yet been updated. Think of the utility as an Olympic-sized swimming pool filled with water that has a bunch of little taps which are like buildings using electricity. Our building's renewables would be like a small cup of water that we can pump back into the swimming pool, which gets used by another tap. Without the swimming pool of water there all the time, there can be no interconnection between buildings and thus no sharing. This process is enabled with Eaton Power equipment that supports the bidirectional flow of power. Working together is key, and the utility grid is what enables us to do so by generating and supplying clean energy. In this video, you can see how Eaton's Everything as a Grid approach is revolutionizing how we look at buildings. In the meantime, if you want to learn more about the energy transition, contact us or your local Eaton representative to visit one of our Power Systems Experience Centers today.